and I know this in partly from personal experience. When you're like a white person and you grow up in this privileged system, your whole identity is wrapped up in that this system is good, that you're a good guy. And so, since your identity is all wrapped up in that, once you start to peel back those layers and see, holy shit, my ancestors or the system that I participate in on a daily basis are really ugly, it really fucks with your head.
It does fuck with your head. It's true.
It's like someone tore up your whole reality and threw it in the fire, and you're just like, I don't know what to do. And so you have this kind of identity crisis. And the only way you get through that identity crisis in a positive direction is if someone you trust helps guide you through that.
That's so true.
It's either, like in my case, it was professors, and then also like working in communities of like other cultures and other countries where I suddenly was like around these people who are really human and I'm seeing what they're going through. Absolutely. And that was like, okay, then I can fix my identity on the fact that like my identity became a thing of like, I'm going to do my best to try and understand the pieces of the puzzle that I've been missing.
Yeah.
But if you have no support person, and this is, again, the reason why it's so important to have brave conversations with your friends and your family members.
Yeah.
If you don't have someone you can trust, if you just have some random person on the internet tell you that your history is racist and your culture is a piece of shit, then what you get is backlash. The person retreats into it and doubles down on their ideas.
There's a really tragic moment in the book where when they're on the ship to Canton, so it's hard for them to have the conversation about like why like Robin took the blame for the Hermes Society action that Victoire and Rami get caught in. And so they're able to have a very brief conversation because Letty's always around, right? They have a very brief conversation where Robin's like, I know about the Hermes Society. And I was in the Hermes Society, and Rami's like, what the fuck, bro? Why didn't you tell me? And Victoire's like, calm down, let him talk. And then Letty shows up, right? So then they're on the boat. And Letty's always around, but she's clocking that her friends are like having drama. And nobody will explain what it is to her. And then, like, they get there. They can't have a conversation either there because Professor Lovell's around. He's making them do stuff. And then they go back, and then the murder happens. And so Letty finally is included after like an act of violence happens. And then she's like, wait, what? Like, why are you guys doing this? Why aren't you grateful? You know, but they're so pissed at each other and so stressed out by covering up the murder of their professor that they can never really explain to her in a way that she can hear what's going on. Because everything is filtered through the act of violence that they did. So they weren't able to explain their positions before they did an extreme action. And I think that, I don't think Letty would have heard them necessarily, but I'm just thinking about Letty like trying to talk to all of her friends, and none of her friends will talk to her because they can't, because of the thing they're hiding, the secret that they can't share with her, because their very safety depends on them keeping quiet.
So for Letty's point of view, Letty feels like her friends betrayed her first.
Yeah.
Essentially. And the author doesn't come out and say that directly, but it's heavily implied.
Yeah.
And that's some of the justification that, like, why aren't they grateful for all the opportunities they've been given? Like, I'm really grateful for the opportunity I've been given. Instead, they're going on this violent path, but there's other, like, we can reform through peaceful measures. It's the old liberal, let's reform the bad thing.
Yes, let's change it from the inside.
Let's change it from the inside. Like, which is, I will say, can be very important too, but it can't.
I was just going to say change from the inside is bullshit. Because you're always corrupted by the system that you swim in. You're always corrupted by those waters.
I do think there's moments when having an insider pushing at the same time there's outside. You can't do it without the outside pressure.
Sure.
Reform from the inside does never really happen.
No.
But I think in concert with outside pressure, inside pressure, you can have the right person in the right spot to make the right decision at the right time that would change the game. that can work, but I do think that without the outside pressure, that never happened.
Okay.
People always are then corrupted by the system without the outside.
I think you're probably right. I think you do. The thing, the danger of it, or the reason that it almost never works, like having people try to change the system from inside, is because you're always corrupted by that power that you have access to,
and you get comfortable
when you're inside the system, and you get comfortable. And you start to think about your own situation. You know, oh man, like, I do want to change things, but I also want that bonus, or I do want to change things, but if I get this legislation passed, then I can get reelected.
Well,
and then if I'm reelected, I have a better chance of changing things.
And classic, I've worked so hard to get here, I don't want to throw it away.
Absolutely.
Like, that's
absolutely
right. You spend 20 years developing a career, and then suddenly, like, you know, you're like, well, shit.
My career matters too.
Well, and you might have a family.
Oh my god,
you know,
I gotta protect my family.
Right,
yeah.
I gotta protect my family. I can't take a big risk, and so that ends up happening. But I will say, if you have the right person who is sympathetic to your cause on the inside, and you make a major push from the outside, and you have a couple of allies on the inside, that's the only way that real change can take root in an existing system.
Yeah.
And the danger is of tearing down a system is you never know what you're going to get in the aftermath. Like, again,
Reign of Terror.
Reign of Terror.
Yeah.
The French Revolution becomes the Napoleonic Wars.
Yeah.
Like, so you don't always never know what you're going to get if you burn the system to a ground. So it's not just it's not reform and it's not rebellion. I feel like it's got to be somewhere in the middle, and that's a really, really tricky fine line to walk.
I mean, absolutely. You know, you like.
Which I think
you get rid of the Galactic Empire, and then you get an ineffectual New Republic that does nothing.
And you get the First Order.
And then you get the First Order.
Right.
You know?